And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to my show 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Dial directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Now, today, my first contributor is Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. He's going to be talking about the wireless news, the latest and greatest that's available. And my second expert contributor is going to be Ray Mailer with his American Grid. He's going to be talking about building a pipeline from Alaska to California for water. Isn't it about time somebody did something like that? If we can ship oil, we can ship that, that's for sure. Well, right now, I want you to stand by for news. But first off, I want you to know that 3:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 86 degrees here on the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, let's talk about the 10 things that you need to know for today, Wednesday. It's your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today, Wednesday and tomorrow, Thursday. First up, FBI fights attempts to smuggle nuclear material to terrorists. The successful busts, however, were undercut by striking shortcomings. Kingpins got away, and those arrested evaded long prison sentences, sometimes quickly returning to nuclear smuggling. And South Carolina gets a respite from the rainstorms. Tuesday was the first dry day since September the 24th in the state capital, but officials warned that new evacuations could come as the huge mass of water flows toward the city. And why the top United States commander in Afghanistan recommends keeping more troops there? Well, General John F. Campbell tells Congress conditions have changed since President Barack Obama announced a plan to withdraw forces, and that a military presence is needed to fight al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Well, contrasts between Clinton and Sanders are coming into focus. As their first debate approaches, their differences on foreign policy, gun control, and trade are becoming clearer. Well, a mystery deepens over the fate of the sunken U.S. cargo ship. Authorities are likely to focus on possible engine problems as they continue to search for 33 million mariners. And how a new generation of Palestinians is pushing for unrest. Too young to remember the hardships during Israel's clampdown on the last major uprising, they are driving the current wave of clashes, having lost faith in dialogue and believing Israel only understands one thing: force. Well, United States seems close to allowing women in combat. Defense Secretary Ash Carter says limiting the search for qualified military candidates to just half the population would be crazy. And American Indian artifacts may have been taken by actors from the Maze Runner movie set in New Mexico. Following comments by the film star Dylan O'Brien, 20th Century Fox says it is investigating and will return any stolen items. And next up, ESPN grapples with fantasy sports scandal. DraftKings billboards will be pulled from news shows amid reports that an employee may have assessed or accessed valuable company data before winning second place in a FanDuel contest. And who's playing in the big leagues tonight? Well, the Yankees and Astros open baseball's postseason with a 20-game winner, Dallas Keuchel of Houston, facing Masahiro Tanaka in the American League wild card game. Well, that's everything in a nutshell. Let's get into some in-depth stuff so that you really know what's happening in the world today, not as you know it, but as you need to know it. Well, the Associated Press did an investigation. Nuclear black market seeks the Islamic State extremists. In the backwaters of Eastern Europe, authorities working with the FBI have interrupted 4 attempts in the past 5 years by gangs with suspected Russian connections that sought to sell radioactive material to Middle Eastern extremists, the Associated Press has learned. The latest known case came in February this year when a smuggler offered a huge cache of deadly cesium, enough to contaminate several city blocks, and specifically sought a buyer from the Islamic State group. Criminal organizations, some with ties to the Russian KGB successor agency, are driving a thriving black market in nuclear materials in the tiny and impoverished Eastern European country of Moldova, investigators say. The successful busts, however, were undercut by striking shortcomings. Kingpins got away, and those arrested evaded long-term sentences, sometimes quickly returning to nuclear smuggling. That's what the Associated Press found. Well, Moldovan police and judicial authorities shared investigative case files with the Associated Press in an attempt to spotlight how dangerous the nuclear black market has actually become. They say the breakdown in cooperation between Russia and the West means that it has become much harder to know whether smugglers are finding ways to move parts of Russia's vast store of radioactive materials, an unknown quantity of which has leached into the black market. We can expect more of these cases, said Konstantin Malik, a Moldovan police officer who investigated all 4 cases. As long as the smugglers think they can make big money without getting caught, they'll keep doing it. Well, that just seems to be the way organized crime is altogether, doesn't it? It's, can you make big money? Can you get away without being caught? Can you make these things happen? Well, that's kind of where it's at. Well, let's talk about this. A mother-son bond over guns links in Oregon and Connecticut's flames. The deadly shooting last week at an Oregon community college has an eerie parallel with the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School that killed 20 pupils and 6 adult staff members in 2012. Like Adam Lanza, the gunman in the Connecticut massacre, Christopher Harper Mercer was living a mostly solitary life with a mom who shared his fascination with firearms. Both stories illustrate the struggles parents face caring for a deeply troubled child, struggles that can inadvertently lead to a volatile outcome made easier by ready access to weaponry. When you begin to bring guns into the home environment where you have that dangerous cocktail of behavior, that's pretty unbelievable, said Mary Ellen O'Toole, a former FBI profiler, who directs George Mason University's Forensic Science program. Harper Mercer bears similarities to other school shooters, a young male focused on mass lethality, in carrying out the killings in a military-like mission destined to end in the killer's own death, O'Toole said. Well, he was a loner in his 20s, just like James Holmes, who killed 12 people in a cinema in Aurora, Colorado in 2012. Jared Loeffner, who seriously wounded Representative Gabby Giffords and killed 6 in Tucson, Arizona in 2011. And Elliot Rodger, who killed 6 people near the University of California, Santa Barbara campus last year. Like Rodger, he left behind a note that complained about not having a girlfriend. Well, you know what? You got to just question the sanity of these people. When we come back, let's talk some more about in-depth news. Let's talk about Russia fires a cruise missiles from the warships in Syria. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this: the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. Well, Russia fires cruise missiles from a warship into Syria. Russian warships in the Caspian Sea fired cruise missiles today as Syrian government troops launched a ground offensive in central Syria in the first major combined air and ground assault since Moscow began its military campaign in the country last week. The missiles flew nearly 1,500 kilometers, that's about 930 miles, over Iran and Iraq and struck Raqqa and Aleppo provinces in the north and Idlib province in the northeast. Russian officials said the Islamic State group has strongholds in Raqqa and Aleppo, while the Al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front has a strong presence in the Idlib. U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter said Russia was continuing to strike targets other than Islamic State militants, adding that he was concerned about the Syrian ground offensive backed by Moscow's air power. The latest developments came a week after Russia began airstrikes in Syria, its longtime ally, on September the 30th, and added a new dimension to the complex war that has torn apart the Mideast country since 2011. Activists and rebels say the targets have included Western-backed fighters and other groups opposed to President Bashar Assad. A Syrian official and activist said government troops pushed into areas in the central province of Hana and south of Idlib in the boldest multi-pronged attack on rebel-held areas benefiting from the Russian air cover. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to talk to the media. Well, that's nothing new, right? Guess not. I'm telling you, that's going to escalate to something nasty. You watch. I don't like that. Another line drawn in the sand that we will or won't react to. Let's see what happens. Well, South Carolina still on the edge from floods. 2 die in a truck. Rivers rose and dams bulged today as South Carolina faced another anxious day of waiting for the flood waters to recede. And search teams found the bodies of 2 people who died after they drove around a barricade and into standing water. At least 19 people in South Carolina and North Carolina have died in the storm. Along the coast, residents prepared for a second round of flooding as rivers swollen from days of devastating rains make their way toward the Atlantic and the Columbia area, where some returned home to assess damage and clean up. The threat of more flooding still hadn't been lifted. About 1,000 residents near the compromised Beaver Dam were told to evacuate today, or I should say this morning, though the order was lifted several hours later when crews shored up the dam. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham warned the disaster could break the bank of federal emergency funds, possibly topping more than $1 billion. In coastal Georgetown, one of America's oldest cities, Scott Youngblood put more sandbags by the door of his Augustus and Carolina furniture store on Front Street, the popular tourist attraction that runs along the Sanpit River each day since last weekend's storm, which sent more than a foot of water washing down the street. Water at high tide has lapped against those sandbags. Residents worried there may be more flooding on the Black and Waccamaw rivers, both drain into the Georgetown County. We haven't seen the last of this. I don't know how you feel about global warming, but it just seems to me that we're getting plenty of signs of it, don't you think? Seems like it to me. Well, a trio wins the Nobel Peace for mapping how cells fix DNA damage. Thomas Lindahl was eating his breakfast in England this morning when the call came, ostensibly from the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. It occurred to him that this might be a hoax, but then the caller started speaking Swedish. It was no joke. Lindahl and 2 others had won the Nobel Prize in chemistry for pioneering studies into the way our bodies repair damage to DNA. Their work has provided fundamental knowledge of how a living cell functions and is used to developing new cancer treatments, the Academy said. Well, Lindahl, who is Swedish, was honored along with American Paul Modrich and U.S. Turkish scientist Aziz Sankar for research done in the 1970s and 1980s. The men really laid the foundations for the whole field of DNA repair, said Alan Ashworth, president of the Cancer Center for the University of California in San Francisco. These really are the fathers of the field. Lindahl, 77, is an emeritus group leader at the Francis Crick Institute and emeritus director of cancer research UK at Clare Hall Laboratory in Britain. Modrich, 69 years old, is an investigator at Howard Hughes Medical Institute and professor at Duke University School of Medicine in Durham, North Carolina. Sankar, also 69 years old, is a professor at the University of North Carolina School of Medicine in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He is the second Turk to win a Nobel Prize after novelist Orhan Pamuk was awarded the Literature Prize in 2006. Wow. Can you imagine? Learning how to manipulate DNA to repair it. How magnificent is that? Well, the latest U.S. aircraft rerouted over Syria avoids the Russians. The latest developments after Syrian troops, emboldened by Russian airstrikes, launch a ground offensive against insurgents. The Pentagon says at least one U.S. military aircraft changed its route over Syria recently to avoid coming dangerously close to Russian warplanes. A Pentagon spokesman, Navy Captain Jeff Davis, said today that he could not provide details, including the number of times this has happened. He says U.S. aircraft are still flying attack and other missions daily over Syria, but he acknowledged that the air operations have had to be adjusted since the Russians began flying. Davis said this highlights the Pentagon's interest in talking further to Russian officials about ways to avoid accidents and potential unintended conflict in the skies over Syria. One round of talks was held October the 1st. No second session has been scheduled for now. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to talk about my favorite subject, the IRS loses. And the first case up, lien rights are lost during a temporary lapse. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And you know what? I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I'm just going to get right into this. First off, lien rights are lost during a temporary lapse. Let me tell you about this. The IRS placed a lien on investment real estate owned by a person who owed back taxes. Now later, after negotiations over the tax bill, the IRS released the lien. A friend of the property owner then made a loan to him of $117,000 that was secured by the real estate, believing that the tax claim had been settled. But soon after, the IRS revoked its release of its lien and refiled it at the courthouse. The lender sought a court ruling that her lien received priority. The IRS answered that it had filed its lien first. They went to court. This is what the judge said. The lender obtained her secured interest in the property with no notice of the tax lien because it had been released at the time. So her lien gets the priority. And that's exactly what you'd have to expect. You know, the IRS doesn't get to break the rules whenever it wants to just because it's the government, right? They have to keep the same rules. Here we go. The IRS loses. Tax papers remain confidential even after being shown to outside auditors. Here's the thing. While examining a company's taxes, the IRS issued a summons to the company's outside accountants who had audited it, demanding that they give over tax work papers to the companies that they held. The company argued that the work papers were privileged against the IRS because they were prepared with the lawyers in anticipation of litigation against the IRS. The IRS replied that confidentiality for the papers was lost when they were provided to the outside accountants. They went to the judge to get some justice here, and this is what the judge actually had to say. The papers were given to the accountants under a written confidentiality agreement, so they remained easy for me to say, right? Privileged against the IRS, which is exactly what you would expect to have take place, and that's the way it should be. Well, you know what? You've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Let's talk about that a little bit. Oh, yeah, here we are inside the IRS. Now, you've heard me tell you before that these are not actual tax cases that were going on. What we're talking about here is that these are decisions and things that the IRS has made in the past that set a precedent that you can actually use to your benefit when you're dealing with the IRS, because they've already set the precedents and they can't go against it. So the first one up here is tax-exempt organizations and politics. This is important stuff, you know, when you think about it. And so, let's see here. You know what? For some reason, there we go. Now, so here's what happens. To enjoy the benefit of being a tax-exempt organization, for example, a religious institution or a school, an organization is prohibited from participating in and intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office. Now, in reality, tax-exempt organizations have been actively supporting or working against certain politicians. The IRS has been under pressure from Congress to do something about this abuse. However, guidance recently issued in a revenue ruling explains that voter education is permitted as long as it's not biased. So, you know, for that, these tax-exempt organizations are able to educate their members as long as they're not prejudiced. So that's a pretty thin line to draw when you start talking about that. So, you know, we'll see what happens with it. How about this? Suppose you haven't filed your tax return for several years, and the IRS sends you a letter saying that it wants to audit you. Well, here's your best approach. Retain a knowledgeable tax attorney to contact the IRS agent and say when the agent can expect to receive your delinquent tax return. A date for the audit can be scheduled at that time, or a new date if the audit had already been scheduled. The next thing you do, retain an accountant to prepare your tax returns absolutely squeaky clean correctly. Now is not the time to take aggressive tax positions, and be careful. Do not call the IRS agent yourself to explain why you haven't filed. The admission could be used against you if the IRS later wants to prosecute you for a tax crime, and you don't want that to happen. Guaranteed, I can tell you. That's exactly what you don't want to have happen. Let me give you one more. Charitable contributions made to an organization cannot be earmarked for the benefit of a particular individual. Now, a common but technically not allowable practice is for a church or a synagogue to raise money to benefit a member who has suffered a tragedy. Now, the best approach here is donations to the charity should be solicited for general purposes, but can then be used by the leadership as they see fit, including to help a specific family or individual congregant. Now, special exceptions based on a recent IRS ruling, donations solicited for families of firefighters killed in the line of duty and police officers are going to be an exception to this rule. So churches can do that, organizations can do that. There's not going to be any issue with it at all. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, and he's going to talk to us about everything that's new in the wireless networks. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 86 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you talk about sunny. My good buddy, Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman's waiting in the wings. Let me give him a proper introduction, and then we'll get him in here. It's time for our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. You know what? If this guy doesn't know it, you don't need to know it because it's not important. He knows everything there is to know about the wireless companies that are providing you services and all the good deals that are sitting out there. So help me bring aboard our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, you out there?
What an intro there, Robert. That was pretty impressive. I want to meet this guy.
Well, you know what? I like him.
Well, he's okay by me.
Okay. So, listen,
how's your day?
You know what? I'm having a great day, having a great week. I should knock on wood, I suppose, right? I don't want to put a jinx on anything.
Absolutely. I was fighting technology all week, and today it seems to be working, so I don't want to jinx anything either.
So listen, anything new and exciting going on out there?
We do have some interesting stuff, that I think is relevant. First of all, I want to talk about definitely the best OS that nobody is using out there. Can you guess what that might be?
The best operating system? Nobody. Wait a minute. I saw an article, and it's not Apple. Apple runs number 2, and I can't. I don't remember who it was, but Apple runs number 2, doesn't it?
Well, that's all speculation, and this is all in my opinion. But in my opinion, the best operating system that nobody knows about is Windows 10.
Oh, really?
And and I'm using it now, and for a long time, I was having issues getting my laptop upgraded to it.
Now, Joel, now here's the deal, because I've got to pick on you, because you're the one that told me when Windows 10 was coming out. I couldn't hardly wait. I was having trouble getting it. I went to your website, and that's how I was able to get it the day that it rolled out, and you just procrastinated, and I kept telling you, hey, this is right up there with Oxygen. I love this thing, and you just got it, didn't you?
Well, I requested it. There was 2 ways of getting it. Immediately, or you request it and they send it to you. And I requested it. I'm still waiting on that laptop. I've gotten 2 new laptops in the interim, and I've upgraded both of them immediately. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it's not compatible with this old beast, but it is pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
I do like it very much.
Well, did I tell you what happened to me? I actually loaded it in and I loved it, and then this thing came across my screen saying you need to update your Windows 8 startup thing, and I thought I didn't know anything. I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff, so I said, yeah, go ahead, update it. Well, it installed Windows 8 startup instead of the Windows 10, and boy, I was ticked off. So and you can't reload the Windows 10, even though it's there. So I called Microsoft, and those people were so wonderful. I mean, they actually connected to my computer while I was online, installed everything I needed, and I'm back up and running. I love Windows 10.
Well, let me tell you something. They're making a run at Apple, and I think finally they've got a product. They have a couple products that are impressive. First of all, the Surface Book. I got, the first Surface. Mm-hmm. Or not the first, Surface 2 I got. Yeah, it's all right. Nothing super impressive. Ran the Windows RT, not the full-blown Windows 10. Well, they got new stuff coming out, and there's a new Surface Book, which is really their first laptop that's going to rival the MacBook Air, and it's 13.5 inch. They also have something called a Surface Pro 4, which is their latest and greatest. And this thing can be tweaked to have all the, the i7 and all the other stuff, 1 terabyte of solid state drive memory. Pretty amazing. It's like 786 grams if you go with the big boy loaded.
Okay, but so I have got to ask you this. I mean, just one of these days, I'm going to do a sneak peek in an unannounced visit to your home, because my guess is that when you walk in the door, it is wall to wall technology. It's every cell phone you can find. It's every laptop. It's every computer. I'm guessing that you've got instead of using wallpaper and drapes, you've got computer technology lining the walls of your home.
I'll have to take a picture of this place when I have all my laptops firing and running.
And surfboards. And surfboards.
And surfboards. I do have surfboards hanging on the wall in the back. So, yes. But anyhow, I wanted to also tell you about something that's pretty exciting, and that is, I've always thought that the Microsoft 10 was great because it was touch, but as we talked about, I'm not real big on touching my laptops, but I think for smartphones and for tablets, this Windows 10 is fantastic. And finally, these guys are coming out with some really cool phones, which I think are going to get some attention. Watch for a Lumia 950. There's going to be a 950 and a 950 XL, and these are Windows 10 phones. they're beasts. The little one is a 5.2 inch, high def screen. The other one's a 5.7 inch high def. Both have 20 megapixel cameras with Cardoza optics and lenses and 32 gig storage and all the bells and whistles. But again, these are Windows phones, and what is more compatible with your desktop than having a Windows phone that can run all the Microsoft products, OneDrive and Note, and
integrate. And they integrate. They integrate so well.
Listen to this one. They got a brand new feature called Continuum Technology. And what it allows you to do is if you give presentations, you don't have to carry a computer around anymore. You carry your cell phone around and you can link your cell phone directly to any monitor and, with the special dock.
Wow.
And, that allows you to display any kind of presentation you want to give, any Microsoft presentation.
So you do the PowerPoint on your desktop. Because of their OneCloud thing, it's automatically on your phone, and so you plug your phone into the projector wherever you're at, and it does your PowerPoint presentation.
Exactly, and this is going to be a new feature, and they're doing a lot with gaming as well. But I'm thinking that they're finally getting it together now. These are nice-looking units. They're small, like the Apple stuff, and the only thing they were really missing, I think, was a great wireless platform and devices. And I think maybe now that's coming.
Wow. So am I hearing good old Dr. Wireless thinking about moving totally back to Microsoft?
Well, I'm on both now.
Me too.
I got a couple of Windows 10 devices now, and I've got a couple of Apple, desktop, Mac Minis. One in my office, one in the living room. So I'm kind of stuck between the two.
Well, for me, by trade, I was an accountant, and the truth is that I always used the Microsoft operating system because all the software that I needed would only run on that, and so I got used to it, and I built this trust in them and their software and all the stuff, set aside the fact that we got bombarded by viruses and stuff. But other than that, we built this real trust with that. Now I find myself using a mixture. I love my iPhone. I literally love my iPhone, but I'm using Windows 10 on my desktop, and I'm still with Microsoft on my desktop. And I love that too.
You don't have any Apple iPads or MacBooks?
Oh, I do have. Yeah, I do have two Apple iPads. Matter of fact, I use them right now during our broadcast. I'm using my iPhone, two Apple iPads, and my Microsoft 10, the great big screen for my board.
Okay, so you're multi-platform then, and I do the same because each one has benefits. If I'm opening up suspect stuff, websites I'm not comfortable with, I'd rather do it on an Apple than a PC.
Yeah.
So, there's certain benefits. But, I'll tell you somebody else who's got some neat stuff coming, Google. Google's got this new platform, their new iOS called Marshmallow. And don't ask me who names these things.
Oh, you know what? It's interesting. They name them according to fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and it's the first letter. So they're at M is where they're at. I actually read something about that in the news. I don't know if it was today or yesterday.
That would make sense because I remember they had gingerbread.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they come up with these things. But Marshmallow's got some pretty neat stuff. And I think one of the neat things is called Google Now. Or was it Google Now? Google Now on Tap. So listen for that, but it's an intelligent assistant, that will work with Android phones.
Matter of fact, what they said about the Marshmallow, what I recall them saying, was that it is about 100 times more intuitive than Siri is, because they actually save everything you do and everything you think and everything you look up, and they've got it all on a bank just for you. So when you ask a question, it knows all about you and knows what your thoughts and your likes are and can anticipate you.
Very good, Robert. You've done your homework. In other words, if you had a bunch of meetings lined up or had a long drive ahead of you, this Google Now can automatically tell you what time you need to leave in order to beat the traffic.
Yeah.
Based on where your next meeting is, how to get there. It's amazing. Some people are freaked out at the notion that Google has so much access to all their personal data, but that's what makes this whole thing powerful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's
exciting.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to be pretty cool. I'm trying to think what else they came up with. There was one other thing that they were working on that was impressive.
Well, you know what else? You know what else Google has that is absolutely fantastic? They have this app. If you go to Google Play and you do a search for Robert Cardoza Live, there's a free app there that you can download on your computer. You can do it on your phone, on your Windows phone, and it'll let you listen to our show live, chat with us during the show, listen to all of our archives, do all that stuff on Google. Now you can also do that on Apple too.
I've done it on Apple, and I have your app on Apple.
I love you, Joel. I love you, buddy.
On you initially because you got it on Google's Play Store first, and I said, "Why not Apple?" And then the next day, there it was.
I'm putting you in my will. Now, what I need you to do is get everybody to download that thing.
Exactly. Well, the other feature I was trying to think of before I forget with this Google Marshmallow was they were going to integrate a voice-to-text feature that would work with multi-functions, multi-applications. So, I mean, that's nothing, new, but, if it works with a lot of different, it could be convenient if you're driving around or. Well,
I actually use, depending on which one, because I have, even on my iPhone, I have Google on there too, and I'll a lot of times, I will use the voice instead of the text. It makes it easier, and I certainly use it with Siri a lot, especially if I'm driving and I wanted to make a phone call or something, I'll just do the voice one. And I love that voice, as opposed to text.
No, I agree. It's pretty interesting stuff. And again, I know I'm covering a lot of stuff, so if anybody needs any of this information or wants to dig in a little deeper, they can go to Joel at drwireless.com and contact me regarding any of the subject matter. Or just go to our site, www.drwireless.com, because there's lots of neat stuff going on. We can't talk about everything, but I try to post most of it. And
you've got a fantastic site. So listen, we've got to take a break. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, and lots of exciting stuff going on. Leave a little teaser for when we come back here, Joel.
Well, we can talk about something that Apple didn't tell anybody on their new iPhone 6 Plus series, 6S series. Sorry about that.
All right, and we'll hear all about that when we come back from these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. But before we put him back on the air, I want to remind everybody that is with our 405 Media Radio, they're going to be leaving us in about 8 minutes. And then if they want to hear the rest of the show, you know what? Just go to SpreakerRadio.com and search robertcardozalive.com, search Robert Cardoza Live, or go to my website at robertcardozalive.com and hit listen live, or get our app at robertcardozalive.com. You can search that at either the Apple Store or at the GooglePlay.com. And having said that, Joel, you got the air. I don't know why I'm tongue-tied all of a sudden. Jeez.
All right, Robert. Well, you put me on the spot and you asked me to leave you with something that people might want to stick around for and come back to. So here you go.
Yeah.
Apple made the iPhone 6S nearly waterproof, and they didn't tell anybody about it. How about that?
For real? When you say nearly waterproof, are you saying it's waterproof up to a certain depth?
I'm saying it's water resistant, and they've done a few things. You remember last week we were talking about iFixit and how Apple was suing them for taking apart their Apple TV? Mm-hmm. Well, they should thank them for this report, because iFixit, because they ripped the iPhone apart, they determined that Apple was putting a brand new gasket around the sides of the phone, and they were not only that, but encasing every cable connector on the phone's logic board with waterproof material. And, that really hasn't been done before. Most of the other water-resistant phones focus on protecting the external ports.
So does that mean we don't have to use? Does that mean we don't have to use rice anymore?
Well, you may not have to. They're saying that it's far from being truly waterproof. But if you were to drop it into a toilet and fish it out, or into a sink and fish it out, it's going to be fine.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So that being said, I won't be surfing with it. If you need to reach me in the morning, you're going to get voicemail. We're going to send
up cloud signals. That's the only one. The only thing you're going to see, because you're looking up at the air, you're looking at the next waves that are coming in. I'm going to just send you smoke signals.
But that's pretty interesting. Nobody really talked about that. But when you look at this, it's far more water resistant than most models. I mean, it's right up there with the Samsung S5, which they called water resistant.
But here's the thing, Joel. I can just see you now. If they actually made a waterproof phone, I don't care what kind it was, you would, if you didn't have a back pocket in your trunks, you'd sew one on, so you carry that thing everywhere you are. And I can actually picture you with either an earbud in your ear or with the phone in your hand on your ear while you're surfing the waves.
Not me. I could see my brother doing that because he's definitely dialed in. I actually have a friend who's got an iPhone 6 with one of those Life waterproof cases, and what he does is he brings it out in the water, puts it in his wetsuit, has his waterproof earplugs on, and he listens to music. He listens to his iTunes out there.
Really?
And, I actually called him one day, and he didn't answer the phone while he was on the wave, and then he paddled back out and answered it. And I said, "Hey, Alex, what happened?" He said, "Well, I was a little busy at the time." I couldn't answer. So the technology's there for anybody who wants to do it, but that's my solitude. I don't want any phones ringing out in the water.
Yeah. Well, I would think that's about all you'd need to do to splash, right?
Exactly. Here's one I think you're going to love. I see this, and it's so hard not to bag on AT&T when you see this stuff. But AT&T on Tuesday just received permission from the FCC that's going to allow it to offer its customers Wi-Fi calling.
Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? This is what you and I have been talking about. You've been talking about this for months, and AT&T was never going to do it. They're now going to do it? They're offering it as an add-on, though, right?
No, not only are they going to do it, but here's the funny thing about it. Jim Ciccone, who's AT&T Senior Executive Vice President of External and Legislative Affairs, is extremely grateful that the FCC had granted AT&T's request for a waiver so they can offer this service. This guy took issue with the fact that Sprint and T-Mobile have been offering this service for some time. Sprint, about 6 months. T-Mobile for about 8 years.
Wow.
Or I should say 6 years. T-Mobile's had it since the first day that the iPhone came out on AT&T's network. The first Apple iPhone, that week that Apple introduced that with AT&T, was the same week that T-Mobile introduced their voice over IP dialing.
So are they going to
have it now for over 6 years, and AT&T is scratching their heads as to why the FCC seems intent on excusing the behavior of T-Mobile and Sprint, who have been offering these services without a waiver for quite some time, instead of enforcing action against them. So what's happening is AT&T's pissed off right now because the FCC just said to them, sure, you can offer Wi-Fi voice over IP dialing. And what they're upset about is the fact that, they're basically saying the agency has effectively invited them to now apply for similar waivers and implied that their prior flaunting of the FCC rules will be ignored. Now, they're talking about Sprint and T-Mobile. so AT&T's pissed because they're saying that, the FCC is now inviting, Sprint and T-Mobile to apply for the same waivers, even though they've been offering the service without waivers, and they're angry that the commission's playing favorites.
Well, yeah, not only that, it almost sounds like it was a restraint of trade. They looked the other way for T-Mobile and Sprint, and now they've gone this other way. Listen, does that mean that AT&T is going to raise the price because now they're going to be offering Wi-Fi connections?
Well, you never know, but what kind of ticks me is AT&T didn't mind that T-Mobile was offering this when they had their 5-year exclusive on the iPhone and nobody else could offer it.
Right.
And now that, people are leaving AT&T and they don't have any exclusive with any products, and their two competitors are offering this service and never got this supposed waiver that is needed. You can see the FCC was really concerned about the waiver.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so AT&T's angry that, instead of, fining or doing something, detrimental to Sprint and T-Mobile who jumped the gun, they're saying, sure, you guys can apply for the same waiver AT&T just did.
So what do you anticipate the timing on this is going to be? And the people that already have iPhones, will they be able to just, will it automatically work, or do they have to do something?
You know what? AT&T will tell Apple to flip the switch, and all of a sudden, magically, you're going to see under phone Wi-Fi dialing, and you can enable it. So that's coming. That'll be coming very quick, and AT&T is not going to be able to charge for it because nobody else is charging for it, and Verizon's going to have to ultimately do it too.
Wow.
But I just thought it was humorous that sour grapes, that these guys are crying about, that they got their waiver and that the other two carriers have been doing this and never needed a waiver.
Well, it's not that they didn't. It's not that they didn't need it. They ignored it, right, and got away with it because the FTC just looked the other way.
Well, the FCC probably looked at this and figured, you know what? These services are doing their customers a benefit.
Yeah.
Why would they penalize the carrier for doing something nice for the customers? With the Wi-Fi dialing, you are now able to make phone calls in areas that cellular service didn't cover in the U.S., and you're now able to roam globally without paying long-distance toll charges or roaming fees. So it's a win-win for the consumer. It's a win for the carrier because, especially if, not all carriers are offering it.
Yeah.
So to me, and the way I read this is a lot of these big carriers do not like the idea of you operating on any other network but their own.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel Verizon and AT&T were the last two to come to the party with this. I think T-Mobile and Sprint had to because they didn't have the network coverage in the U.S. that the little guys did, but I think this is a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, are you kidding? I'm sitting here salivating.
Well, I'll be in Mexico. By the way, I'll be in Mexico in 3 weeks, and I'll be on Wi-Fi a lot of the time.
Oh, that'll be fantastic. Are you going to call me on Wi-Fi?
I may. I'll have to see. The only problem is down there we have satellite internet, so if there's any rain or clouds, I can't get out. So you may need a contingency plan.
Well, you know what? I always have a contingency plan, but let's give it a try and see if it works. I think that would be fantastic. And
yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Just try, because if it doesn't work, I can move right into Plan B. That's not a problem.
Perfect.
Yeah, that sounds.
Did you hear about LinkedIn getting sued for $13 million in a spam settlement?
Yeah.
How about that? I don't know if I'm part of that suit, but I probably am.
Well, you know what? I got
a class action suit.
Yeah, and I actually got a letter. No, I got a text. I think it was. And that's how I learned. That's how I learned about it. I scan the news every day, all the time. But I had actually gotten a text with regard to LinkedIn, and I think it's because I'm a LinkedIn member that is the reason I got this text.
I'm sure it is, because anybody who added connections between September 2011 and October 2014 was impacted with their service that was sending out stuff.
Yeah.
And irritating people, without your permission.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I haven't received anything yet, but you can be sure I'll be on the lookout. But it's probably $10 or so.
Well, you know what? Most of the time, those things I don't do anything with them because it takes me more time than I think the monetary benefit is going to be. I don't want to work an hour for a $10 check that might come.
For $1.
Or $1 or $2.
Yeah, if they got 50 million customers and they got to give out $50 million, $1 to each customer,
and then they're going to
worth it.
And then they're going to do it, unless they do it as a credit automatically, they'll know what it's already there. And it just, I don't know how they can even credit it. There's no charge for LinkedIn. So I don't know how they're going to do it.
I don't know.
Yeah. And you know what?
Lastly, yeah.
Yeah. And not only don't I know, I don't care as long as they have to pay the piper because they cheated.
Exactly. That's my feeling. I'll continue using them. They work for me.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I don't know if you had heard, Apple CEO Tim Cook was interviewed not too long ago about what Microsoft was doing, with their Surface lineup, and his opinion of the, tablet/laptop hybrids was you can converge a toaster and a refrigerator, but those things are probably not going to be pleasing to the end user. And that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I think Microsoft got this thing figured out, and like I said, I'm going to be looking at their stuff in December when they launch all of this stuff again. I think it's going to be interesting. This new Surface Pro is going to be a beautiful device, and I think these Lumias are going to be worth looking at. These cell phones, those kind of operating systems.
I love the coordination of it. The idea that you can seamlessly interact and coordinate amongst your
phone and your desktop operating system. That's what makes Apple so wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is what I think Microsoft has been missing. And it's that integration. It's like people ask me about it, and I tell them it's like being in the mafia. There's no getting out. once you have an Apple ID and an Apple password, they make it so easy for you to upgrade devices. You know, iPads, laptops, doesn't matter. You put in your Apple ID, your password, boom, 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 everything's there.
Well,
so,
we need you to put in your contact information. We got 10 seconds before we move to a commercial.
All righty. Again, anybody wanting more of this information can reach me at joel@drwireless.com or go to our site, www.drwireless.com. And we have $10 off for 3 months now on one of our favorite reseller deals, $29 for 2 gigabytes of 4G data, unlimited everything else per month. Contact me, joel@drwireless.com for more information.
Hey, Joel, fantastic show, my friend. Man, it just buzzed by. I want to thank you. It was it's exciting when I get to talk to you, especially if I actually understand some of the stuff you're talking about. Anyway, go out and
you're on top of it, and you better find yourself an air conditioner this weekend out there.
Okay. Have a great one. Go get wet and enjoy yourself.
I'll do it for you.
All right. Now, don't go away. When we come back from this commercial, we're going to be with our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. We're talking about water from Alaska. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:08 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently, 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, talking about sunny Southern California, we have our own Ray Mailer waiting in the wings. Let me give him a proper introduction and get him in here.
I buy Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing the day that I die.
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
Hey, Ray, welcome aboard. How you doing, my friend? Hey, Ray, you out there?
I'm doing really well, Bob.
It's good. Other than you trying to get a hold of me and my fat stubby fingers not reaching the button to connect you fast enough, and the technology saying, well, he didn't do it fast enough, so I think I'll just send him over to voicemail. I actually thank God for your tenacity in continuing to keep trying. So it just. But other than that, everything works really well.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Happy to be patient. Not an issue. Not
it's
a problem at all.
The other system that I was using, and I liked it better because it automatically answered the phone and put people on hold, did all those things. The only problem is that every once in a while, if you called in, it disconnected everything, including the broadcast. And I thought, holy cow, what the heck's going on? So this is the safer of all of those things. But speaking, I am so excited because I got a message from you today about what you were going to talk about, and I know that you're going to talk about an angel on your shoulder first. You got to talk about those little angels, but I think I read this right. I don't think that I was just dreaming it. You were saying something about water from Alaska. So let's talk about the angels first, and then we'll talk about water from Alaska. How's that sound?
That sounds good, and maybe we can use some angels to help bring the water down here. But but the other angels, the Los Angeles Angels in Anaheim, they have concluded what turned out to be a very exciting season, and fell just a little bit short of making it to the postseason. I must say, it had been a challenging year, with occasional flashes of brilliance where you could see just how good this team could be. But then, one part or another wasn't working so well, or there were injuries and such. So it's kind of a tough year to watch the Angels. But, boy, they sure made it exciting in September, including Saturday's game. So they're just barely still in it for the second wild card spot on Saturday. And then, of course, this is another have-to-win situation.
Are you going?
And, well, no, I didn't.
I mean, a real diehard fan, Ray, would, even if they were just, trying to climb the light standards outside or the big A outside to get up high enough to see inside. I mean, a real diehard fan would be there for that game.
Well, I will. I'll look into climbing up the big A sometime.
Well, I'll come bail you out.
Sounds good. Well, they were playing away. They were actually in Dallas playing the Texas Rangers this past weekend, and so it was a must-win game against the first-place team, the Rangers, and the Angels. There were a lot of runs scored in this game, but they were down 10-6 in the top of the ninth inning, and
wow.
Gosh, you're thinking, no, they may score a run or two. Well, anyway, first batter up, home run. Second batter up, home run. Well, now it's just a 2-run game. Then a series of, there was one, it wasn't, the scorer didn't even consider it an error. It was just a very difficult pop fly that Albert Pujols hit, that a couple of fielders couldn't catch. Anyway, so he gets a double, then there's a single, then there's another single, and a third single, and before you know it, the Angels are ahead 11-10. As they head into the bottom of the ninth inning. Texas is a strong team, but managed not to score. The Angels pitching held in. So it kept the Angels alive for another day.
Wow, and, I'm surprised you're still breathing. You should have had a heart attack, anybody that's as dedicated to that team as you are.
Yeah. Well, my daughter came down and said, "What are you yelling about?" I said, "You've got to watch this. This is amazing." So, anyway, just to give you an idea of how often it happens that a team that's down by 4 runs in the 9th inning manages to win. It had been 1,800 Major League Baseball games since this had last happened. And to think that the Angels did it, in one of these do or die to stay in the playoff contention sort of game, it was a lot of fun to watch.
That's the kind of ball game you want to see. The one where you have no hits. A no hitter is a very boring game, and a perfect game is a very boring game. You want to see plays, you want to see hits, you want to see guys running around, and so that sounds like it was really an exciting game. Now, I mean that's the best part of baseball.
Indeed, yeah. Hits, home runs, 3-run home runs, all kinds of, just hits all over the place. Even errors are fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, especially if it's the other team, right?
Yes, particularly then.
So, listen, we've actually got 5 minutes before we go for a commercial break, and so I don't want to move into water, other than to ask you this question that I don't want you to answer, because I want to get the answer for it after the break, and that is that are these guys ever going to consider a pipeline, whether it comes from Alaska through Canada to us, or whether it comes from the East Coast to here? The East Coast apparently right now certainly has plenty of water.
Yeah, exactly. We ought to set up a pipeline to South Carolina.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't mind.
Would you take 2?
Yeah. Actually, one of the things I've come across in the past week is there has been a serious pipeline proposal.
Oh, for real?
And apparently 2 of the players were Kenneth Hahn, who you may or may not recall.
Kenneth Hahn used to be a councilman in Los Angeles.
Right, and later L.A. County supervisor.
Yeah.
And apparently he and the governor of Alaska several decades ago were trying to move forward a proposed pipeline from Alaska to California. And the folks in Alaska, apparently their governor made a lot of crazy ideas, presented a lot of crazy ideas, so they figured, this is just another one. But Kenneth Hahn tried to take it pretty seriously, but apparently just couldn't get the funding all figured out and how to make this into reality. So, they only have to go as far as the California aqueduct, and they just start pouring it into there. Yeah, that's right. But you do have to get through, a mountainous part of Alaska, as well as British Columbia. So there might be international issues. I'm not sure how you negotiate those.
They still want the XL pipeline, don't they?
They do. And
well, you know what? Why not tie the 2 together?
Exactly. Let's make a deal. You want XL?
Yeah.
We want water.
Yeah.
And we're just passing through British Columbia.
Yeah. It makes sense to me. I don't know why it is that only you and I can come up with these solutions, and nobody else seems to have the insight to understand that these solutions are really quite simple.
They really are. It's just a matter of negotiation opportunities. Yeah, and you're brilliant to point that one out.
Well, no, I was thinking more of we, not me.
Oh, well, fine, we can do it. But
it takes brilliance to recognize brilliance.
When it comes down to it, there are going to be 2 negotiations. There'll first of all be the one to kind of say, okay, we're linking these 2 together, and then somebody's going to have to negotiate the water deal and somebody the oil deal. Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen. So leave us a little bit of a teaser. Are we only going to talk about Alaskan water, or are we going to talk about something else too?
Water, and I'm just going to touch base on the climate change law that was signed last week.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. So let's go there. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about water. We'll talk about climate change. I mean, it's really obvious now when you see the weather in the East Coast and the weather in the West Coast and all around. Global warming is just a figment of somebody's imagination. We'll talk about that right after this commercial break with our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. We'll be right back. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy Ray Mailer with his American Grid. And I'm not sure that this is good news or not. You were talking about Alaskan water, but now I'm wondering, how are we going to get it back here?
Well, mostly because nobody except you and I have figured out how to build a pipeline between California and Alaska. But somebody else has a different kind of idea that certainly worth discussion, which is
wait. You're not going to talk about floating icebergs, are you?
No, although that's an interesting idea too. But actually, strange you should mention that. We'll just take a little side here. There actually was a time when there was a firm, I think it was in the 1840s, a firm shipped ice from Alaska to San Francisco. And they operated that way for a couple of years. And that was one of the interesting things I came across. So they must have cut it out of a glacier or something and loaded it on a ship and shipped it down. They had regular shipments of ice into San Francisco.
Wow, that is kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah, it is.
That was the Titanic ice currency company, right?
Yeah. actually, kind of a reverse of the Titanic. Part of the reason the ice shipment stopped was that a couple years into the operation, their ship ran aground. But the ship took an extra several days to sink because the ice was actually keeping the ship afloat.
Really?
Yeah, so even though they had cut a hole in the hull from hitting some rocks, the fact that they had all that ice in the hold kept the ship from sinking for a few extra days.
Well, how interesting is that? That actually is interesting. So I suppose you're going to tell me they're going to use big tankers to bring the water over here.
You are right. Yeah, there's a firm called Alaska Bulk Water that a few years ago purchased the rights to draw up to 9 billion gallons of water from a reservoir in Sitka, Alaska. And they were recently making a pitch to Southern California water agencies and the ports to start shipping water into here. Now, 9 billion gallons, you might have a little trouble placing, how much water is that? How far would that go?
That sounds like a whole lot of water.
Yeah, it's plenty of water. You can brush your teeth, maybe shave. And it's the equivalent of about 3/4 of our current Lake Oroville, or 2/3 of Shasta Lake.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. So it's substantially one of our big reservoirs. And also, just to give you an idea of how big Lake Mead is, it's only 1/10 of the contents of Lake Mead.
Holy cow! Well, you mean the capacity, not the content.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the capacity. So if Lake Mead were full, these 9 billion gallons drawn each year would just be 1/10 of what it holds. Although here's an interesting point of comparison. So the big water bond that we passed last year, is likely to authorize construction of 2 dams. One at Temperance Flat, and the other at a place called Sites.
Okay, so geographically, where is Temperance Flats and where is Sites?
Yeah, Temperance Flat is northeast of Fresno.
Oh, okay.
And Sites is about midway between Redding and Sacramento.
Okay. So
about an hour north of Sacramento. And each of those, just roughly speaking, holds about 1.5 million, or once constructed, they'll hold about 1.5 million acre feet of water each. And these 9 billion gallons in Alaska are almost 3 million acre feet. So, in a sense, this outfit could be shipping the same amount of water we're hoping to store in 2 new reservoirs.
So this deal in Alaska, it's just a one-time deal for the contents of that reservoir, right?
No. This is an area where it rains 100 inches per year, and this private company has the right to withdraw the 9 billion gallons each year.
Well, and this is not going to be another one of those cases where they want to split California into 2, and they're going to keep that as Northern California water.
That's right. Yeah, this is a third party to come in, and it should basically neutralize some of our water wars. Yeah, exactly. And basically they're just looking for customers right now. They've got a Mexican beer brewer who wants to purchase 300 million gallons a year for brewing beer, and the Middle East.
Well, no, wait a minute. Now this is getting down to a priority. Do we what do we want to use this water for? I'm guessing it's coming from Alaska. This is really pure water, and it's probably the best kind of water you'd ever want to use to brew beer with.
Coors may have some competition.
Yeah, that little old waterfall on the back of the Coors brewery may not be anything compared to glacier water.
Yeah, actually, if you were curious, there's a town that uses water from this lake, and it is so clear and pure they don't even bother filtering it.
Wow. Well, there used to be a little like a little brook. It was like a 2 by nothing up in Yosemite, and the water there was actually tested, and it was purer than ivory soap. It was 99 9/10% pure water. You could drink that, and it tasted so sweet. It was unbelievable.
Agua dulce, sweet water.
Yeah. Mm-mm. I don't know how come I went in that direction, but anyway.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so the Mexican beer brewers are kind of interested in this, and the Middle East is thinking about buying up to 5 billion gallons a year. So they might alone buy half of what they got going.
Okay, so now we really have a problem. We have the Mexicans that are going to compete with us because they want to use it for beer, and we'd like to use it for sustenance, in the California water needs, right?
Right, but there are some other, infrastructure challenges that became apparent in this first meeting that happened last week. So the intention would be to bring the water, by something similar to an oil tanker into the ports. But they have to figure out how to ship it into a water agency. Yeah. And, there are a few local water districts that would, be close enough to take advantage of it with probably a pretty short pipeline. But, the ship is going to have so much water, and port time is always at a premium, so they're going to want to offload it as quickly as possible. They're probably going to need to create a reservoir here, near the port, which would be, kind of a real challenge.
A holding tank, right?
Yeah, a holding tank, but to hold, that many millions of gallons of water, it has to be a pretty big tank, or they were talking about a reservoir. And, when land is at such a premium close to the port, I don't know where they'd put it. So there's that big challenge as well. And the one thing that's apparent is that this water shipped, and the reason it's never really been done is it's very expensive by comparison with, say, building a dam in the state. Because once you've got the dam built, the operating expenses for delivery are relatively inexpensive. And if we're concerned about climate change, shipping water by ship is not going to be helping out that situation.
No, but you could utilize, and I know I keep going back to this pipeline issue, but you could utilize a pipeline to not only refurbish the depleted water in the reservoirs in the dams, and set up almost not a highway system, but a system where the water could flow in. Automated, so that it would be sent to the dams that actually had the capacity to hold more water, or it would be strategic. And it seems to me that in the long run, the real long run, that if that's what we did, we would be solving our water problems, and that the dollars involved would become minimal over the years of use.
Yeah, I agree. That would amortize really well. And as you've pointed out, you really just need to get it to the northernmost point of the state water system. Yeah. Which might be Shasta Lake, or maybe a little bit north of that.
Yeah, so because everything would flow from there.
Yeah, exactly. So, if we can just get it through British Columbia, Washington and Oregon, and a little bit into California, and we'd be all done.
Well, why don't we just attack Canada, take it over? We'd have to do the same thing to Washington and Oregon, because I'm not sure they're part of the United States anymore. When it comes to resources, anyway, So, anyway, that was silly.
No, yeah, that's right. And something, there's no reason when it really comes down to it that Oregon, Alaska, or Oregon, Washington, or even British Columbia couldn't sell water to us. Any of them have plenty of water. They talk about drought, but they're letting an awful lot of their fresh water just flow into the ocean.
Well, but what a great opportunity for Washington and Oregon to get a revenue source to help offset their economy. All they got to do is build a doggone pipeline that goes from border to border.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. We should do that. I mean, the water is there. They've got plenty of it. We need some down here. Yeah. We don't have enough of it, and we're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's 37 million people down here. We're ready and willing to pay for it.
You know what? Here's the deal. If they don't ship us the water and do this thing efficiently, then what we need to do is to move to 37 million people up to Washington and Oregon and let them tell us how they feel about that.
Yeah, that's right. I'll bet they'll start proposing, hey, we'll build a pipeline for you. You just stay down there. You keep your traffic down there. Your high housing prices.
Yeah, we love your visits, but go home. So, but the thing is we spend money on such ridiculous things, and we throw money away on such ridiculous things, and I don't understand why we're not giving a serious priority to these needs, because the solutions really simply aren't that big. They can be overcome. All we need is some cooperation, and and I just don't understand why they haven't been talking about this a long time ago. Because these, like you said, this shipping, they talked about bringing icebergs down here. They talk about using the tankers. They talk about all these things. They've been talking about it for years, and it's the same problem with legislators since time began. It's all talk and no action.
And sometimes it takes the private venture just to force the issue. This outfit in Alaska, the company's called Alaska Bulk Water. If they're successful and they set up a contract in California, they won't be terribly price competitive, but they'll probably have a market for selling the water. If we're already willing to pay double for the latest in desalination plants. Yeah. I'm not sure what the shipping's going to work out to, but let's say it's also double. Yeah. Becomes a viable alternative to desal, and it solves that problem.
Well, you know what? Don't you remember when we had? Maybe you don't. You may not be that old. Don't you remember when we had 28 cents a gallon gasoline?
No, that was before my time. Okay, but I remember 56 cents.
Okay, there. Then that's fine. You remember 56-cent gasoline, right? So, So the big deal, when you talk, now you're looking at $3 gasoline instead of 56-cent gasoline. So if we traded the access to water for the water price, wouldn't that just make sense? And we just budget someplace else?
Yeah. Absolutely. We would adapt. Yeah. We would adapt. Hey, and here's somebody who's adapting. Guess where the largest residential water user is located? And how many gallons of water does it use per year?
Residential, huh?
Yeah, residential.
And is it out here in California somewhere?
Yeah, it's out here in California.
Is it somewhere I could spit at?
No. You might want to. There's a residence in Bel Air that uses 12 million gallons per year.
You're kidding. A residence?
A residence. That's the equivalent of 6,400 toilet flushes per day, or 800 people taking a 10-minute shower.
Holy cow.
Each day. Yeah, amazing. They have a water bill. I know you've had some high ones yourself, but check this out. They pay $90,000 per year.
Water?
For water.
There's something wrong with these people.
Yeah, exactly. And believe it or not, the top 10 residential water users, I kind of figured some would be in Northern California. They're all down here.
Wow.
4 in Bel Air, 3 in Brentwood, 2 in Beverly Hills, and 1 in Westwood.
Well, buddy, you're not going to believe this, but we are out of time.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you believe that?
Well, maybe out of time, but I'm glad we're not actually out of water.
Well, me too. This has actually been fascinating. This has been a great show. What do you got on tap? Bad choice of words. What do you have? What do you have on tap for next week?
Well, next week I'll talk a little bit about the climate change bill that the governor signed, I think yesterday. Okay. Some of its interesting terms and conditions, and how our state is going to change a little bit more. So that'll be one subject for next week.
All right, sounds great. Hey, it's been a great show, Ray, and you take it easy, stay safe on your way home. Give that lovely wife of yours a hug and a kiss from me, will you?
I'll be happy to do that.
All right, good night, buddy. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. All of that right after we return. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is, right? Sure, it's Wednesday, October the 7th, and it's somebody's birthday. Okay, we've got some exciting birthdays today. The first one up, this lady was born in 1943, co-host of the talk show The View. Happy birthday, Joy Behar. And here's one, guys, born in 1955, one of the most revered cellists of the 20th and 21st centuries. Happy birthday, Yo-Yo Ma. And Simon Cowell, you know who he is? He's born in 1959, television executive who's famous as a judge on American Idol and his kind of caustic attitude, yeah. And Taylor Hicks, born in 1976, singer who achieved fame in 2006 when he won the 5th season of American Idol, yep. Well, what happened today in history? October the 7th, 1955, beat poet Allen Ginsberg reads his poem Howl for the first time at a poetry reading in San Francisco. And in 1963, John F. Kennedy signs ratification for the Partial Test Ban Treaty. And then finally, in 1982, Cats opens on Broadway and runs for nearly 18 years before closing on September the 10th, 2000. Wow. And I can't even begin to tell you how many times I saw that play, Cats, and I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it in Los Angeles. I've seen it in Century City. I have seen it in San Francisco. I have seen it in New York City. I have seen it in London. I have, and I just love that show. Just fantastic. Well, here's the quote for today. It comes from Richard Bach, and Richard says, "Here is the test to find whether your mission on earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't." Well, that makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? I think. Well, it's time for our secret daily teachings for your life. And, I tell you all the time, this is all about a positive mental attitude. And that's where we're at right now as well. So let me get right to it. The greatest insights into the secret on the subject of world came from the teachings of Robert Collier, Prentice Mulford, Charles Hanel, and Michael Bernard Beckwith. With that understanding came total freedom. I truly hope that you can come to a place of that same freedom. If you can then, through your existence and the power of your thoughts, you will bring the greatest good to this world and to the future of all mankind. And it's all about a positive mental attitude, knowing that you can prevail. That is what it's all about. Well, let's talk about that Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is, there are 3 mistakes to avoid when taking over a team. Taking over as the leader of a team is daunting. Your team members are used to how their previous leader liked to do things, and adjusting their habits can be a real challenge. But it's important to avoid 3 common mistakes that new leaders make when trying to ease that transition. First off, being a friend rather than a leader. Investing too much energy in befriending the team can confuse the power relationship. Most teams want clear, confident leadership and expressing frustration with the quality of the team. What team members are good at is a reflection of what the previous leader expected of them. If your expectations are different, you need to help the team make that shift. And then finally, attempting to force trust too quickly. Until team members have had time to see how you handle uncomfortable topics, too much candor will do more harm than good. Let trust build over time. That is how you take over a team. Well, it is time for our interesting but useless facts. And right off the top, did you know flamingos are not naturally pink? They get their color from their food, tiny blue-green algae that turn pink during digestion. That is where it comes from. Well, did you know your skin is the largest organ making up the human body? The largest organ. Alive, replaces itself continually. How about this? The shortest verse in the Bible consists of 2 words. Jesus wept. That's John 11:35. Jesus wept. Well, wearing headphones for just an hour will increase the bacteria in your ear by 700 times. Well, I wear headphones for at least 2 to 3 hours every day. So this is kind of a scary thought when you think about it. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something about that. Did you know that the first CD pressed in the United States was Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA? I'll bet you didn't know that. Interesting though, huh? You can win bets in the bar for that, and maybe some free drinks. Did you know that Mars appears red because it's covered in rust? I wonder. Could be, depending on the metallic minerals that are there. Did you know that tigers not only have striped fur, but they also have striped skin underneath that striped fur? That's kind of interesting. I know I've never wanted to get close enough to a tiger to shave it to find out. I'm not about to do that. I'm going to just take these guys' words for it. Did you know it takes a plastic container over 50,000 years to start 50,000 years just to start decomposing, not finish. Let me leave you with this. Babies are born without kneecaps. They don't appear until the child reaches 2 to 6 years of age. Now, you got to find that kind of interesting, I'm thinking, right? Absolutely. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. The first email that I have is from Kaylee Tran from Grisham, Oregon, asking about posthumous income. You know what that is. That's income you receive after you die. I'll tell you all about that. It's kind of interesting right after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live, and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses: website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:52 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings. My good buddy John Matthews is going to talk to us for just a moment. I want to remind you that John's show airs every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. And boy, I want to tell you, if you want to know what's going on in conservative politics, this this is the man to listen to. He's a level-headed, straight-shooting guy that's going to tell you the way it is. You don't have to believe everything he says, but you do need to hear it because he's going to give you some food for thought. Hey, John, what's on your show tonight?
Well, we have I have a couple of topics that are coming up. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm going to do it tonight. We're going to be talking about the immigration crisis, specifically what's going on over with Syria right now. Because it reminds me of another immigration crisis that we had several decades ago. A different type of war was being fought here in American soil, but the circumstances are very similar. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, of course, the GOP had their meeting yesterday and have picked the 3 nominees for the Speaker's House. So we're going to be talking about that. And then when you come on in the second hour, we're going to be attacking or tackling, whichever way you want to look at it, the Trans-Pacific Partnership again. We're going to be looking at that, the snake oil that Obama's out there trying to tell us is the greatest thing since, of course, Obamacare. So we're going to be talking about the ups and downs of that and what we can speculate on. Nobody's read the thing yet, so of course it's all speculation. So, but that's what we got lined up for tonight.
Well, sounds absolutely intriguing and exciting. Why don't you remind everybody how to listen in, especially since I'm going to be on your show today. Explain to them, immediately following this broadcast, you start broadcasting, and people can actually listen into your show, as I said before, not just today, but Monday through Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. Just go to his website at theconservativesyndicate.net, and you'll be able to listen live right there on his show. I think that's probably the easiest way, don't you think, John?
Yeah.
So don't want to miss it. Soon as I say good night, everybody, get on the show with John. You don't want to miss anything that he's got to say. And then eventually I'll get on there too. So, hey, John, I'll talk to you in a few.
All right. Take care, my friend. We'll talk to you later.
All right, take care. All right, so it is now time for us to talk about answering your emails. And, this is an entertainment part of the show, so I just want to remind you of that. We do the best we can based on some sketchy information that you generally send out to us, and so that's how we're going to handle this. Now, the first email that I got today comes from Kaylee Tran from Grisham, Oregon. She's asking about, I think it's a she, I'm not sure, posthumous income, and says, my mother died, and I prepared a joint return for that year that her husband signed for their taxes. Then, for the next year, I received a 1099 from my mother reporting several $1,000s of income to her. Her husband filed a single return for that year. So, how do I report this? Well, here's the deal, Kaylee. If the income was from a bank or an investment account that her husband or another person inherited through joint ownership or an account beneficiary designation, that person owes tax on it. Now, if the income was paid to your mother's estate and then distributed by will or state law, consult the executor or administrator of the estate. Ask the issuer of the 1099 to, in the future, send 1099s that name the proper recipient. And that's really where you've got to go with this. That's just the way it's got to work. Well, let's see. Let's get one more in here. This is from Jessica Trong from Oceanside, California, asking about an inherited property basis, and says, inherited property gets stepped up basis equal to its market value when it has appreciated in value. But if it has fallen in value, does it get a stepped down basis? That's a great question, Jessica. And the answer to you is yes. When the owner of a property dies, the property's basis, its cost for tax purposes, from which gain or loss on its sales determined, becomes its market value at the owner's death. Now, if the property has appreciated in value, the basis has stepped up to its appreciated market value, and the taxable gain on appreciation to that date is eliminated. But if the property has fallen in value, the basis is correspondingly reduced and the deductible capital loss is eliminated. So there's a strategy for you. Hold appreciated property until death to bequeath it to heirs. Sell lost property before death to get a deductible capital loss. That is where you want to be with this. That's just the way it is, guys. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be Sean LaFave with his series, Geared for Success. And it's actually geared for wellness. And my second expert will be John Matthews, my good old buddy, with his series, The Conservative Syndicate. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We broadcast at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay happy, and I want you to make everybody's life you touch better for it. And until tomorrow, good night, everybody. Don't forget to tune in to John Matthews and the Conservative Syndicate. I'll be talking to him in about an hour. Good night, everybody.